It's time for a Game 7. Bucks and Nets, a spot in the Eastern Conference Final on the line. And here to help me preview the game is Marc Stein of the New York Times. Marc, so much more than a Game 7. Every Game 7 is special, but this could be a career-defining night on a number of different fronts. So let's start with the Bucks. If Giannis and Milwaukee don't win tonight, what are we saying?
Well, look, I think the first thing will be the status of the coach. I mean, this series, Mike Budenholzer started these playoffs under tremendous pressure. Obviously, Giannis Antentokounmpo is under tremendous pressure to live up to the MVP awards he's won and the contract he signed. And can he be the guy to deliver a franchise to a championship? But it really starts with the coach and how the Bucks will react. Look, they have a great opportunity. And really, when you look at this series, what we said going in still holds. I mean, the winner of this series is probably going to be favored to win it all. And you say that even with the Nets in their current state, when they only have really 1.5 of their 3 superstars because James Harden is so compromised. If the Bucks can scrape through this Game 7, they will emerge as the favorites. And you would have to think what this does for their psyche, their confidence. I mean, one thing we have to say about this Bucks team, their shortcomings are analyzed endlessly. But when they got destroyed in Game 2, a game they went down by as many as 49 points, and then when they could not hold a huge Game 5 lead and lost again, both times around the league, when you talk to scouts, other front offices, the view was they'll never recover from this. And they've recovered twice. So I think you have to give this Bucks team a lot of credit, and it makes trying to forecast what happens tonight even harder.
That's very true. Now, on the other side, you have the Brooklyn Nets. Do they get if they don't win, do they get a pass because of the injuries? Or are we going to say this collection of big three was ultimately a failure?
Well, they'll get a short-term pass, obviously, because they've sacrificed a lot of depth to put these 3 guys together. And when you look at their season, it's not just this series. We've never seen these guys for an extended period of time. The stats have been recited so often. Durant, Harden, and Kyrie Irving played 202 minutes together in the regular season. They played 130 minutes together in the Boston series. So that Boston series was really the longest stretch we've seen the 3 of these guys together. We haven't seen it at all in this series because James Harden got hurt in the first minute. And so, okay, short-term pass, yes, but here's the other reality. I mean, when they signed Kevin Durant, they lost his whole first season while he's recovering from injury. They've made this trade. That's 2 lost seasons. These guys are all in their 30s. Time is running short. So they will be under tremendous pressure. No one's going to feel sorry for the Nets because of the talent they have. But, a short-term pass doesn't really bring them a lot of comfort. If they lose this series, everybody there is going to be feeling tons of heat because the question is going to be asked, how long can they keep this thing together? And next season, all the questions that we've had about how well the 3 guys mesh, they're all still there because they haven't had a chance to shut us up.
And lastly, I don't think any blame can be put at the feet of Kevin Durant if the Nets don't win this series. He's literally been dragging them along all series long. If he pulls off another performance like he did in Game 5, not that he has anything to prove to us at this point, but what do we say about KD if he does it again?
Well, I'm in that same camp too. I really don't think he has anything left to prove. I mean, he's been part of 2 championship teams. He's the best scorer in the game without question. We saw, the Game 5 was a masterpiece, a game for the ages. But look, if they lose this series, will that game endure the way it should? It probably won't. I mean, it's a Game 5 in a series you lost. And as amazing as the performance was, we don't typically tend to sit back and glorify games in the second round. So just from that perspective, it would be a shame for that performance to be lost in all the second guessing and dissecting and everything that would happen. The Nets have been, there have been a lot of storylines this season with obviously the COVID interruptions and, what that's done to the Raptors as much as any team. And then, second half of the season has been dominated by injuries, but the Nets were the story this season by virtue of Durant coming back and then trading for Harden. A second round exit, whatever the circumstances, is going to be it's not acceptable. And, it will just ramp up the pressure for everyone there. But look, when you look at it, Durant's had game 7 success. James Harden even has had game 7 success for as much as we scrutinize his playoff resume. Giannis is the one who needs to deliver here. He hasn't done it yet. He hasn't had many opportunities, but he hasn't done it yet on this kind of stage.
Well, whatever happens in game 7 tonight, it will be the story across the NBA. Marc Stein, thanks for your time as always.
You got it.